The trip from JFK to San Francisco seems like it takes all day. The sky at JFK over the Hudson River is pink and blue at 6:30 in the morning. But it's awesome that I can arrive in San Francisco and be in a fly shop in a half an hour. So welcome, George. It's great to have you along with us on the American River Story.
Of course, thanks for coming in. So what's happening right now is there's this big movement, and you're going to be up fishing with Jason Hartwick and Shane Anderson up on the Eel, and they're a large part of this movement, which is, you know, really recognizing what's affecting these fish, and it's the dam and the agricultural usage, and so the weed industry becoming legalized here in California. That's going to put a lot of strain on the fisheries, just as the wine industry did prior. Here in California, in the Napa region, that put a lot of strain on the Russian River fish, because it's very water intensive to grow grapes. It's also very water intensive to grow weed. And so the nice thing about the legalization of it is now the taxation will hopefully lead to funding these, basically people to enforce the water laws in California and get it straightened out. So that's the hope, that's the positive news. And what Shane and Jason and a few others have done with the movie is really bring these issues to light in a very entertaining, in non-judgmental way, saying, look, we know you need to grow grapes, and it's now part of our economy and part of our livelihood, but we can do it in a way that everybody's happy, including the fish and the fishermen and these local economies that really don't see people for any other reason than, fishing and hunting.
Starting at the Lost Coast Outfitters is a great stepping off point. You can gain knowledge and get your bearings as you move up the coast to Fortuna in Humboldt County, California. The Eel River is a fabulous place to begin a fishing adventure like this. Spend a day with a guide like Jason Hartwick, swinging flies with a spey rod as you float through the most majestic redwood forest you've ever seen.
My name is Jason Hartwick. I'm a steelhead fishing guide here on the Eel River, targeting steelhead swinging flies, spey fishing with two-handed rods. It's definitely a unique technique to chasing steelhead, maybe one of the hardest ways to catch them, as we're swinging flies higher up in the water column and looking for the fish to aggressively move to take our flies. One thing that's unique to the Eel River is we have a total wild strain of steelhead here that are very aggressive and are very apt to take a swung fly. And with warmer water temperatures than maybe some of the other coastal rivers around the West Coast, it's a good combination to try to catch these fish swinging flies.
My name's Shane Anderson. I'm a documentary filmmaker in the Pacific Northwest, and we just got done filming a 2-year project called A River's Last Chance on the Eel River, which is right behind us here right now. So we're excited to spend the day with Colin. He was one of our Kickstarter backers that helped us finish the film, and we're gonna hopefully get into some of the wild steelhead that this river is known for.
You can move on up the coast in those redwoods on 101. We went through Port Orford. We passed the Sixes and the Elk River. We moved on up to the Rogue and spent some time looking at that gorgeous river, having a cup of coffee, and getting ready to move on up for another 4-hour drive to Netarts, where the Trask River flows out of the green, verdant forest into the ocean.
With these steelhead, they'll come in on high tides, and they'll also come in with a big fresh push of rain. The season usually lasts out here. We can start seeing fresh winter steelhead from December, when we start getting our fall rains and those rivers start to swell. And that can go all the way through May if we get heavy spring rains too.
You can then venture across Oregon into Portland for a nice dinner in a cosmopolitan city that you might not even have been aware is happening as much as it is today. Then move on through the high mountain desert, past Mount Hood, through Hood River, and on to the Deschutes River, where the cold water runs through the desert with a railroad track alongside. Again, swinging flies for steelhead, red-side rainbow, and whitefish.
Today we're here on the Deschutes River in Maupin, a river I grew up fishing. Been guiding down here on the Deschutes for about 10 years now. These fish, this is a sculpin, little sculpin are in this river, right? And these things, they're scurrying around. As soon as they start moving, those fish are just trying to get to where they're going. And so the trout will see that thing going, and almost 80% of their diet in this river is sculpin.
The adventure is unequaled, the variety of rivers incomparable, and the time with great American men as guides and cooks, chefs, the waitresses you meet in the restaurants. It's a trip that I wouldn't miss for a lifetime. Thanks for joining us on the American Rivers Tour. I hope you get a chance to try this trip out someday too. What a great country we live in.